Good morning, guys. It's Kathy. I hope you're well. I got a real short one today because the courts are opening up soon, so I gotta get off and I gotta go record. Um, but they're really good. It might be short, but it's really good. This first one, um, I had for you guys before, and for some reason I lost it. But I took time today because it's Sunday and courts are closed today, so I had time to go back and find it because it was just funny. It's just funny what he's charged with. That's all. Let's go to Colorado. Here we go.
Dan, it's a class 5 felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 1 to 3 years, maximum of 6 years, with 2 years mandatory parole, up to $100,000 fine. However, if you were on felony probation or parole at the time you committed the offense, the minimum sentence would be 2 to 6 years. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the parties have agreed to the minimum of 2 years. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the court will follow that recommendation.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Sir, there is a request for restitution in this case, which means that I'm going to give the district attorney 35 days to file notice with the court. Sir, there is a request for you're responsible for restitution in the case. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your attorney would have 14 days to object. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, are you presently under the effects of any drugs, medication, or alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
Are you thinking clearly today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone forced you or pressured you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, do you have any questions that you want to ask your attorney or this court about what you're doing today concerning this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, how do you plead to the charge of second-degree burglary, a class 5 felony, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
The court will accept the guilty plea, find that it's been made knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily, with a full understanding of your rights, the nature of the charge, and the possible penalties. The court will accept the plea and enter judgment against you. Since it's a stipulated sentence, I take it we can go to immediate sentencing. The court's going to follow the recommendations of the parties or the stipulation. Anything additional, Mr. Atherton?
Judge, I appreciate the court accepting that step. I just want to make a quick record, hoping that Mr. Sadler figures out the demons that are plaguing him. This case involved him breaking into a bar. Pretty minimal conduct here. He was contacted. I believe the surveillance showed him breaking and making a pizza. He was wearing hospital attire. The concerning part for the people is that he was on parole for pretty much the exact same conduct at the exact same bar at a previous time where he got a 1-year Department of Corrections sentence. And there are some concerning parts here. The fact that he was wearing hospital attire, there's something going on. And I just wanted to say, I really hope that Mr. Sadler can find the resources and treatment to figure out whatever is going on, that we never have to see him in here again.
Okay. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Your Honor. We appreciate the court accepting the stipulation. Mr. Sadler is hoping to roll out and given permission to move to Virginia, where he has family support and can hopefully get back on track. And I would just ask the court to make sure the minimus reflects 25 days pre-sentence confinement credit.
Max, are you ready for this? All right. Mr. Sadler, you have a right to make a statement before the court imposes sentence. Is there any statement that you wish to make?
No, Your Honor. I did it. I'm guilty. So.
I appreciate that. Figure out, I don't know, if there's some mental health issues that you're dealing with or.
That's some stuff going on at the time.
So, but I just say is try to get this figured out. This could just be this rotating door. You get out, you pick up another offense, you're on parole, they're going to send you back to prison, you get back out. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, and I did notice she had some criminal history in Virginia. So one of the things you need to do is make sure you have a support network of somebody. You do know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's where everybody's at now.
So
Nobody here.
Where at in Virginia?
Not Northern Neck, Eastville.
Eastville, yeah. I've been out to Virginia Beach. Yeah. So I'm going to order a 2-year Department of Corrections sentence with 2 years mandatory parole, concurrent with Adams County cases 21 CR 3692 and 21 CR 920, both Adams County cases. I'll give 25 days of pre-sentence confinement. Restitution will be ordered. The people have 35 days to file that with the court. The defense has 14 days to object. I'll find, since you're going to the Department of Corrections, I'm going to find you indigent for any of the statutory court costs and fees that the court can waive. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
And the court will dismiss all remaining charges.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good luck to you, sir.
Yep, he broke into the bar in hospital gear to make pizza. But not once, twice. Twice he's done this. I don't know what happened the first time, but this time he's getting 2 years. All right, now we're going to go to Ohio. Just one judge, just 2 cases. The first case, what we're going to now, it doesn't matter what she did. She's not the star of the show. The attorney and the judge are the stars of the show.
Her rights to her. She understands what she's doing here this morning. She understands that the court is kind enough to accept the plea on an information that the penalty on that information carries anywhere from 6 to 12 months in prison and or a possible $2,500 fine. I told her it's a probationable offense, but I did not promise her what you would do with her except send her to the probation department
All right,
for a
thank you.
pre-sentence report.
All right, Ms. Blackburn, how old are you?
I am 47.
How far did you go through school?
I graduated and then I did cosmetology school, if that counts, I don't know.
All right, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes, Your Honor.
Prior to coming to court, have you taken any drugs or alcohol or any prescription medication in the last 48 hours?
No, sir.
Have you ever been diagnosed with or treated for any mental illness?
Yes.
What have you been diagnosed with?
I have bipolar and I have depression.
Are you taking any medication for that?
Yes, but I haven't taken any today as
Okay.
I answered your question.
All right. Did you get a copy of the charge that was filed in this case?
I did?
Do you have any questions about it?
No.
All right. Do you understand you have a right to have the case presented to the grand jury for them to decide whether or not to indict you?
I do.
Did you discuss that right with Mr. Peterson?
Yes, I did.
And are you going to waive that right?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to waive that right?
I am.
All right. And she signed that already, Mike?
Yeah, she
All
did,
right,
Your
just-
Honor.
Then if you're going to waive it, then just initial next to your signature,
Put
okay?
your initials right here, okay, right on the. Okay, we did initial it, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, I did witness that, and I signed the waiver of indictment as well.
Why don't you give that to Mike so he doesn't have to walk up here? All right, now, Ms. Blackburn, before I accept your guilty plea, I need to determine that you know and understand the constitutional rights you'll be waiving, the consequences of your guilty plea, and the maximum penalty I could give you. And I need to be satisfied that your guilty plea is being free, knowingly, and voluntarily. So I'm going to ask you some questions. If you don't understand a question or you want to talk some more to Mr. Peterson, let me know and I'll give you more time. You understand that? Gotta
Yes.
Verbally answer.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Mike, Emily gave you the original one, so,
You did, Your Honor. I do have the other one signed already, the
okay,
judgment
then we'll just go with the original one. You can keep the other one that she signed, okay?
with this.
At the time that we're ready to do it, okay?
She should sign this one?
Yeah, when I tell you, not.
Oh,
not-
okay.
yeah.
We're gonna have to re-sign this one in a
Okay,
little
very
bit.
well.
All right, do you understand you have a constitutional right to have a trial, either to me or to a jury of 12 Lake County citizens? Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Are you going to waive that right?
I am.
If you go to a jury trial, all 12 members must agree to a guilty verdict before you can be found guilty. Do you understand that right?
I do.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, I am.
If you go to trial, the prosecutor will call witnesses to testify against you. Do you understand the prosecutor must prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt at a trial?
I do.
After the witnesses are done testifying for the prosecutor, you have the constitutional right to have your lawyer cross-examine those witnesses. Do you understand that right?
Yes, I do.
Are you waiving that right?
I am.
If you go to trial, you have the right to have witnesses come here and testify for you. Do you understand that right?
I do.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, I am.
If those witnesses refuse to come to court, then I'll issue an order that's called a subpoena to make them come and testify. Do you understand that right?
I understand.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, I am.
You have the right to testify at trial if you want to. Do you understand that right?
I do.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, I am.
You have the constitutional right to not testify at trial if you do not want to. Do you understand that right?
Yes, I do.
Are you waiving that right?
I am.
If you decide not to testify at trial, nobody is permitted to comment on that decision. Do you understand that?
I do understand.
If you go to trial and are found guilty, you have the right to appeal the guilty finding. Do you understand that right?
I understand.
Are you waiving that right?
I am.
If you file an appeal, you have the constitutional right to have a lawyer represent you in the appeal. Do you understand that right?
I do
Are
understand.
you waiving that right?
I am.
If you could not afford to hire a lawyer, one would be provided at no cost to you. Do you understand that?
I understand that.
If you file an appeal, you're entitled to have a transcript of all the hearings in this case. Do you understand that right?
Yes, I do.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, I am.
If you could not afford to copy those transcripts, they'd be given to you at no cost. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand.
If you plead guilty today, you will not have the right to appeal the guilty finding. Do you understand that?
I understand that.
Do you have any question about any of the rights that we just went over?
No, Your Honor.
Do you still want to plead guilty to this charge?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand by pleading guilty, you're fully admitting your guilt to the charge?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand by pleading guilty to this felony that you're voluntarily giving up your freedom for whatever period of time that I could sentence you to prison, to jail, or to community control?
Yes, I do.
Right now, the charge of aggravated possession of drugs is a felony of the 5th degree. It carries a maximum prison term of 12 months and a maximum fine of $2,500. Do you understand that?
I understand.
If you plead guilty to the forfeiture specification, then you're voluntarily giving up any right you would have to those items listed. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand that your guilty plea may result in a driver's license suspension of between 6 months and 5 years?
I do understand.
Do you understand your felony conviction would prevent you from owning or possessing a firearm?
I do.
Do you understand that if a prison sentence is imposed in this case, that you might have to serve a period of post-release control as part of your sentence for up to 2 years under the parole authority?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
If a prison sentence is imposed, and as part of this sentence, after your release, you may be placed on post-release control under the direction of the parole authority. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
If you are, they will put conditions on you. If you violate the conditions, then they could return you to prison for up to 9 months for each violation, up to 1/2 of my sentence. Do you understand that?
I understand.
If your violation of post-release control is a new felony, then you could get an additional consecutive prison sentence for that violation. Do you understand that?
I do.
And if you got that, then the sentence would be either 12 months or the time you have left under post-release control, whichever is more. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand that if a prison term is imposed, you are eligible for judicial release?
Yes.
Now, I could place you on community control for up to 5 years, but if you violate any conditions, I could send you to prison for 12 months. Do you understand that?
I understand.
Now, has anybody promised you I would be lenient on you just because you're pleading guilty today?
No.
Has anybody promised you what I will sentence you to in this case?
No.
Do you understand at the time of sentencing, I do not have to follow the recommendation of either the prosecutor or your lawyer?
I understand.
Have you had enough time to talk to Mr. Peterson before pleading guilty today?
Yes.
Has he discussed everything about your case and answered all of your questions?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the advice he has given you?
Yes.
Have you been threatened or coerced in any way to plead guilty today?
No.
Are you freely, knowingly, and voluntarily entering your guilty plea?
I am.
Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, Ms. Contour, if the case went to trial, what would the evidence show?
Thank you, Your Honor. If this matter would have gone to trial, the evidence would have shown that on the 12th day of November, 2023, in Lake County, state of Ohio, officers of the Mentor Police Department did respond to the Meyer for reports of a shoplifting. The defendant at that time, Tracy Blackburn, was arrested, and pursuant to her arrest, she was honest with officers and stated that she had multiple pills in her purse. Those were obtained and sent to the Lake County Crime Lab, proven to be a tizolam, Schedule 1, the amount being less than the bulk amount.
All right, Mr. Peterson, anything to add to those facts?
No, Your Honor, that is absolutely correct.
All right, Ms. Blackburn, did you hear what Ms. Contour said the facts would show if the case went to trial?
I did.
And are those facts true?
Yes.
All right, what is your plea then to aggravated possession of drugs, a felony of the 5th degree?
Guilty.
And what is your plea to the forfeiture specification? Mike,
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
her plea to the forfeiture specification.
Oh, you're forfeiting the drugs, yes.
Oh, yes,
So you would need to say guilty if you're gonna forfeit.
guilty, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so at this point, I almost just skipped right past this video because for some reason this attorney just annoyed me. he was like cocky, but didn't seem to understand what was going on anyway. I almost skipped past it, and I'm glad I didn't.
All right, Mr. Peterson, if you would have her sign the plea form, please.
This is what we signed a little bit ago, but you have to sign it in court, okay? Right there. Wait. You
Oh,
gotta date it.
gosh.
3/1.
Did I?
3/1. Okay. Let me see, I gotta sign it. I'm gonna execute it, Your Honor. And we have executed, I'm giving it to the best prosecutor here.
We'll see what you say in the next hearing.
You don't want to go right to sentencing, do you?
Oh, this?
Well, we use a lot of
No.
times, you know, okay.
No, I don't know anything about Miss Blackburn. Don't you want me to find out about her?
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know, maybe not.
All right, Miss Blackburn, is this your signature on this written plea of guilty?
It is?
Did you sign it voluntarily?
I did.
And do you want me to accept your written plea of guilty?
Yes, I do.
I'll accept the written plea of guilty. Defendant was present when Mr. Peterson advised of all of his rights, made a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary waiver of those rights. She understands the nature of the charge,
I do.
the consequences of her guilty plea, and the maximum penalty. Find it to be knowing, intelligent, and voluntary. Will accept her plea of guilty and find her guilty of aggravated possession of drugs of felony 5 and the specification. I'm going to refer this case for a pre-sentence report and a drug and alcohol evaluation. The sentencing will be April 3 at 10:15, and the bond is continued. Anything else, Ms. Contour?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Peterson? Anything else?
April 3rd, 1 second, Your Honor. Do we have that case of Willoughby on April 3rd? Well, I have it down for April.
Well,
Can we do it the 4th, Your Honor? Is that possible? For some reason, I have something that morning.
What's the Willoughby case?
She has a matter to clear up in Willoughby. It's a theft case.
Okay, what city is that?
It's in
What city was the arrest in?
Eastlake.
Eastlake.
Eastlake does Tuesdays. Well, my daughter does Eastlake,
Oh, that's right. I talked to her about the case.
so
That's right.
So that's
She
a
was
Tuesday,
very nice
is it?
to me, by the way. I don't know
I
why.
told her not to be.
Well, I don't know. I got something.
Let's keep this one the 3rd and then see, and then you can check that out. If there's a
Okay.
problem,
At
call
what
Maria.
time, Judge?
10:15. All right?
I'm just wondering if you could have given me that date before, because that's
You,
what I.
you probably gave it, Maria probably gave it to you.
You just told me that
She did.
you haven't heard anything. about
Okay,
that one.
okay. So
All
this,
right, so 10:15 it is.
okay.
If you're not here, I'm gonna have you arrested. Okay? No.
Me,
yeah,
Your Honor?
You.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Thanks, Judge. Well, I'll be there in a
Am I
minute.
supposed to
Yeah.
stand?
Okay, now you're gonna go to probation, okay? Now here, go out the back of the building. Back of the building is the police station right there, okay? It is the county jail.
I don't know. That lawyer both made me giggle and rubbed me the wrong way simultaneously. Okay, we're going to stay in this courtroom, but this is a completely different hearing. This is definitely not giggly. This judge, you know, he's really great at it. He's great at telling it like it is.
Versus Jerry Karpovich on multiple files, file 22 CR 1158, 23 CR 550, 23 CR 794, 23 CR 1009, 23 CR 1022, And finally, 23 CR 1133, we're here today for sentencing in all these matters. The state of Ohio has had the opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation report and is prepared to go forward. Thank you.
All right, this case was set for sentencing on February 1. In advance of that date, Mr. Peterson filed a motion to continue on behalf of Mr. Karpovich, asking that it be continued because Mr. Karpovich was scheduled for surgery on February 6th. So at the end of that hearing, after quite a while, I continued it to afford the opportunity for the surgery. It was set sometime in March. In advance to today. Mr. Peterson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, you revoked the defendant's bond on these 6 cases after you were kind enough to continue his case for sentencing. Your Honor, the only way I can tell you how I feel, and I truly feel this way about Jerry, because I have met with him many times, his significant other who's in the back of the courtroom, he's one of the very few defendants that I've represented that is so severely addicted to drugs. And that's what drove him to do what he did in these cases. Now,
Even though he doesn't think he should have been charged with anything because it should be a crime because it's all for his use.
And that's-
I heard that for a half hour last time. Go ahead.
and that's, you know what, Judge? I knew you were gonna say that because that's so typical of a person that's in his position. He knows he's going to prison. He knows he screwed up. He let his family down. He let his friends down. He even let me down. Because when I heard he picked up the new case, I was so mad I wouldn't talk to him. But you know, I've talked to him since, and believe it or not, other than addicted to drugs, and that is such a disease, such an illness that he's got. Aside from that, if you knew him other than that, he's the nicest guy in the world. He really is. But he's got this problem, and we need to help him with it. I'm going to ask you not to throw him away.
How on God's green earth can I help him if he won't bother to and is not concerned with helping himself? Go ahead.
How do I answer that question?
I have no idea. That's why I asked you
I'm
the question.
struggling to figure out an answer. Maybe this time that you send him to prison, when he's away from all these friends and all these drugs, that'll help. That's all we could do. We could hope.
Maybe all the people he hangs around with will be better off since he's not around.
No question. How could I argue that? Of course. There's no question about that. But I'm going to just say to you, Judge, you know me a long time. We just finished the case. I'm going to ask you to take into consideration his age, 45 years of age. He's been involved in drugs all his life. And I'm going to tell you something. As you know, you had his brother, who you gave many, many years in prison. His whole family's involved in drugs. That's how he grew up. I'm going to ask you to take into consideration whatever facts you can in relation to this defendant as far as his involvement. Never had a crime of violence that I.
Okay, guys, the judge is going to listen, and the judge is going to take all the facts that he can into his decision.
No, I don't think he's ever had a crime of violence, always drug-related. I'm going to ask you to search your mind and your heart to see what's the best thing to do for him. And he would like to address the court.
Go ahead.
Don't address the court. Don't talk to this judge. Don't.
I owe the court an apology. You're absolutely right. I don't hold myself accountable. when Judge Malczewski gave me an OR bond, I thought I was gonna get out of jail again for a couple of days to find out that my couple bonds here got revoked. I was so angry. I didn't have anything nice to say about the court or the whole situation. Then they let AA come back into the jail. I attended the 2 meetings back-to-back Wednesdays, and something Billy said was something about you gotta just tell one less lie a day. And I told my family that that the last case that I caught, that the police confiscated a couple $1,000s. Well, that's not true. I lied. I spent the money. I spent the money on drugs. And then, once I got my family on the phone, I told my son and I told my girlfriend, it's their responsibility now at this point to save the house, which could potentially be headed back into foreclosure. And at that point, I realized that, yes, my drug use not only is it affecting my son, my girlfriend, taxpayers, you, this attorney, the prosecutor, it's affecting everyone around me, everybody, even people that aren't around me. So not only am I not going to be present to help financially in my home with my family, any leadership qualities that I do possess aren't going to be in the home. Not to mention just the chores, being the man of the house, the grass cutting, the gutters cleaning, anything that the tenants need, and now I'm going to be an emotional drain on my family and a financial drain. Plus now everybody's got to step it up to fill in the gap where I've so selfishly taken for myself and claimed to not have done anything wrong, in essence. Apologize to the courts. I know that I'm going to prison.
You knew that last time. You knew that on February 1st, right?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
How did the surgery go?
Didn't complete the surgery
Why not?
because I used drugs again.
Okay, so I continued that February 1st sentencing to afford you the opportunity to have the scheduled surgery on February 6th, because you stood there and told me how bad the condition was, had Mr. Peterson go to bat for you and tell you how you needed the surgery because they would do a lousy job in the prison system. You took off your sling, took off the package, and showed me how bad it was. So I continued that hearing for about 6 weeks so you could get the surgery 5 days later and recover. Right? Isn't that what I did?
90% of it is accurate. I was meeting with the orthopedic surgeon for them to determine whether or not I needed surgery. But yes, you're right.
That's not the information communicated to me, okay? Maybe you should have told me on February 1st that you were to meet with them. Okay?
I'm fairly certain
All right, so how did your meeting go on February 6th?
Never happened, Your Honor, because I started using drugs again.
Okay. So that leads me to my next question. As I listened to you talk for about 3 minutes, why in the world would I believe any of what you told me?
I don't know how to answer that, Your Honor.
Answer it as best you can.
I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, I guess expected me to be a drug addict when I behaved like a drug addict. I don't really have a, I don't know how to answer it, Your Honor.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was sick of it on February 1st, and I'm sick of it now, okay? Because everything that you say, everything that you do revolves around you playing the part of the hapless drug addict who can't do anything about it. And I'm sick and tired of it. The reason that you don't do anything about it is because you don't do anything about it. In the last 2 days, 2 separate cases, I've had 2 young ladies who were terrible, terrible heroin addicts who've been off it for the space of about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, quitting does make you a terrible addict.
So what they did was they did something about it. You don't want to do anything about it. You like to wallow in your own self-pity. That's what you do best. Then you come here and tell me how mad you were last week when I revoked your bond. And then how all of a sudden Billy came in and now you see the light. That's nonsense. Go on, roll your eyes and shake your head. I don't care, okay? Because you've earned the position you're in, which is for me to never believe another word you ever say. You've earned that. That doesn't come easy. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, Your Honor.
Sit down.
Be careful.
Mr. Geigrich?
Thank you, Your Honor. State of Ohio had an agreed prison term of 3 years at the time of the plea. His recent arrest, I do believe, frees the state of Ohio from that agreement. And at this point, the state of Ohio would ask us to fashion a sentence that would be appropriate for this conduct that he's been before and after. Plus, I would ask you to think about his comments that he made in the pre-sentence investigation as to his remorse to these crimes. And the last thing I would add is that anything less than actual incarceration would demean the seriousness of these offenses. Thank you.
Well, it's mandatory incarceration on 1133, right?
Yes.
Don't worry, the judge is not done.
All right, I've reviewed the pre-sentence report, the drug and alcohol evaluation. I've considered all the provisions in 29-29-11, 29-29-12, 29-29-13, and 29-29-14. Considered what was said in court by the defendant on February 1st and today. Considered what was said by Mr. Peterson on both those days, Mr. Geigrich on both those days. And have observed and concluded that you're the ultimate con man. On the 22-11-58, you were caught with crack, meth, pills, and a scale. 23,550, meth. 23,1022, heroin and meth. 23,794, meth, crack, and powder cocaine. 23,1009, heroin, crack, scale with residue, 400 in cash, 263 in cash, 25 in cash. 23,1133, 8.9 grams of crack, 22.2 grams of baking soda. Can't imagine what that's for. 23.8 grams of cocaine, 2.4 grams of meth, a digital scale, and a glass measuring cup. Can't imagine what the baking soda, the scale, and the measuring cup were for. What was the baking soda for?
Turning cocaine into smokable crack.
What was the scale for?
For making sure I purchased what I got what I purchased, and for if I attempted to sell something, that I gave them what they paid for.
And what was the glass measuring cup for?
For turning powder cocaine into crack.
So I think we had a discussion on February 1st about the scale. And this is the first time you told me that to make sure what the amount you were selling was correct.
Sure.
You didn't tell me that last time.
Because I'm a frickin' liar.
What?
Because I'm a frickin' liar.
You are. It's the first thing I believe you in what you said in 2 hearings. Good. On 22/11/58, on count 1, the F3, the sentence you to 36 months in prison. On count 2, the felony 2, the sentence you to a definite minimum of 4 years up to an indefinite maximum of 6 years in prison. Those 2 counts will be concurrent to one another, credit for 6 days. On 23/5/50, sentence you to 12 months in prison, credit for 6 days. That will be concurrent to 22/11/58. On 23/10/22, 36 months in prison, credit 13 days, concurrent to 23/5/50 and 22/11/50.
Your Honor, which file? You said 22?
23/10/22.
1022. Oh, this one.
36 months, credit 13, concurrent to 23/5/50 and 22/11/58. On 23/7/94, 24 months, credit 14 days. On 23/10/09, 12 months, concurrent to 23/10/22, concurrent to 23/5/50, concurrent to 22/11/58. on 23/11/33, sentence of a definite minimum of 6 years up to an indefinite maximum of 9 years. 23/11/33 and 23/794 will be consecutive to one another and concurrent to all the remaining cases. Now, on your definite minimum, there's a presumption you should be released after that minimum term. Whether you serve any of the additional up to the indefinite maximum is the determination made by the Department of Corrections based on your behavior and activity while you are in prison. There's also a $7,500 fine imposed. It's mandatory on 23/11/33. 11/33 gets credit for 4 days. Now, when you get out, you'll be on post-release control for 2 years up to 5 years with conditions placed upon you by the adult parole authority. If you violate those conditions, a parole authority could return you to prison for up to 9 months for each violation, up to 1/2 of my sentence. If your violation is a new felony, you could get an additional consecutive prison sentence for that violation, the maximum of which would be the greater of 12 months or the time you have left under post-release control. With regard to the consecutive sentence, consecutive sentences are necessary to protect the public from future crime by you and to sufficiently punish you, and they are not disproportionate to the seriousness of your conduct and the danger you pose to the public, despite your protestations to that you're only a danger to yourself. Your history of criminal conduct demonstrates that consecutive sentences are necessary to protect the public from future crime by you, and some of these offenses were committed while other cases were pending. At least 2 of these offenses were committed as part of one or more courses of conduct, and the harm caused by at least 2 of the offenses committed was so great or unusual, no single prison term for any of the offenses committed as part of any course of conduct adequately reflects the seriousness of your offense. Whatever items are subject to forfeiture are forfeited to the state. Is there anything else, Mr. Geidrich?
Nothing, Your Honor, thank you.
Your Honor, if I may, the total sentence that this defendant received is how many years?
There's going to be a 2-year sentence or a 24-month sentence on 23/794, followed by a 6 to 9 year sentence on 23/11/33, and all the rest are concurrent.
So it's an 8-year total.
Correct.
And is the sentence in 11/33, the 6 years, totally mandatory?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
I'll work on that other case now.
Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna file a notice of availability.
Say it again?
I'll just file a notice of availability.
I don't know what that means at the end. He wanted to file a notice of availability on a different case. I don't know what that means. I have no idea, but I know that attorney was like, no, I don't want you to do that. He's just mad right now. He's just mad that he's getting 8 years. I doubt. I know the judge just said it was mandatory. He didn't exactly say that while he was making his ruling. He said that 2 years was mandatory minimum. So I don't know. He's probably not going to get 8 full years. But his brother's there. He'll be okay. His brother's in there. It's like a family reunion. I don't know, Kelly. He's getting a lot of years, but none of his crimes were violent. They were all drugs, just drugs. He didn't. I've seen people, violent people get less than 8 years. Yes, Cloud. 2 years was one case. There were 6 cases altogether. The one was 2 years mandatory minimum. So he got 2 years from that. He has to serve all those 2 years. And then all the other cases were concurrent, so it didn't matter how many months they gave him that other ones, except for the last one. The last one he got 6 to 9 years, depending on how well he does in jail, and only the jail gets to decide whether he serves 6 or 9 or anything in between. I don't know what if I would ever just even try it. Toilet wine. Jim of the North is telling them to make toilet wine together. I've heard of the toilet wine. I don't know. I don't know if I could do it. I could probably do pretty much anything once, but yes, Sally, inflicting potential harm on others, absolutely. That's why the judge was like, you didn't tell me you were selling it. This is just about you. No, he knew he was selling it. The judge knew he was selling it, but that was the first time the guy actually said he was selling it. So, yeah, the judge gave him all that. I wonder just how much the brothers' crimes weighed on the judge's mind when he's talking to this guy, because they're brothers. You know what I mean? I know he can't say anything like that aloud, but I wonder if that plays a part. But oh well, I have to end the stream now. That's all I have is those 3 because courts are opening soon, and I gotta be ready. Can't slack a lack in here with you guys. I got work to do. But thank you so much for coming out this morning. I appreciate it. To me, it's the first day of my weekend because I have off today. So I'm going to go get recording and enjoy my weekend. Yes, the grind is real. Alright, guys, try to behave today. Please, just today. Kelly, you're never late. I started too early. Alright, guys.